Good afternoon and welcome to our presentation on self-guided walking with country walkers. It is my pleasure to be here joined by my colleague Ashley Sullivan, who is going to share her experience on self-guided walking tours. At the end of the presentation, we will take any questions that you may have as well. So let's get started.
It'd be 5 after.
My name is Glenn Letch, and I'm the National Accounts Manager. I have a lot of experience in the travel industry as an agency owner and had the pleasure of working with country walkers for almost 10 years and then VBT for the last almost 8 years. So really love these companies, the people that are involved in putting these tours together, executing the tours, Ashley with her marketing skills. Just really a pleasure to be part of this organization, and we're looking forward to a better 2022 as everyone is, and I'd rather like to go into battle with this group. And I'm joined by Ashley Sullivan, and she has been in the industry for 5 years. She is our creative manager, so she does all kinds of things. A lot of what we put out to travel advisors. Could we ask you to mute, please? And she is, of course, a very active person and is willing and eager to share with her experiences on our self-guided tours in a couple of destinations. So we are part of Xanterra Travel Collection, but it's really nice that we run our own business underneath this great ownership with some really nice reach. We're based in Vermont. We have staff located around the world. I myself typically would be located in my home in Southwest Florida. I'm currently broadcasting from southeastern Georgia, making my way around the country over a couple weeks before we head off for the holidays. We have the two great brands. We have Country Walkers and VBT Bicycling Vacations. Collectively, we have 130 active itineraries, and that's worldwide. We go to 30 countries. So even though we're based in a little office in Vermont, we have a lot of reach around the world. We only do active travel, and we have a very well-traveled staff, very passionate about travel. Who goes with us? Definitely a 50-plus educated type of group. They like some interesting experiences, a lot of solo travelers, about 35% on walking tours and 25% on biking travel solo. Doesn't always mean they're single. It just means that they travel solo and they like it because they're going with some like-minded companions. Enjoy being active. You don't have to be a super athlete to complete our tours. We have a couple of tours that we would consider more challenging, and you have to be maybe in a little different level of fitness. We'll talk about that as we go through. But really a mainstream mobile type of person that really likes to move around a little bit and take things in a little bit more of a unique way would enjoy our tours. And you're going to learn a lot when you get on the tours. So no matter what brand you choose, what style you choose, you're going to have some components that are common to all of our offerings. So on guided tours, these exceptional local guides. On self-guided, you're having exceptional local support because the guides or leaders won't be with you the entire time. Premium accommodations, some great destinations, some classic destinations like a Tuscany, and some kind of off the beaten path destinations that you wouldn't think maybe you'd go walking or biking through. We do rate, again, the activity levels quite carefully. We want people to be comfortable because it is vacation when they're out there traveling. Some wonderful cuisine, always picking up the local ingredients, the local cooking styles. We do offer air packages on most all of our products. The one exception being this product that we're going to talk about, which is Country Walkers self-guided walking tours. But we do offer air, and I'll tell you how that works. Enhanced safety. We've been in business for over 50 years, so you're not unsafe when you're out there, but obviously at the forefront of what we've been dealing with for the last 2 years, know that we've taken some great measures to keep our guests comfortable and safe. So with country walkers, we call them styles. So moving into 2022, we've simplified this a little bit more. And we simply have guided, which is small group travel, local guides, multi-night experience, of course. Minimum is going to be 5 nights, 6 days, and then a little bit longer as you get further away from the United States. And then self-guided, which is what we're going to focus in on today. It's a little bit smaller part of our business overall, but it's a really important part of our business. And we've been offering self-guided tours for 10 years. So we've been doing it for quite a while. Over that time, I've watched it evolve from maybe a little bit chaotic to start as we send people off on their own with all these dots connected for them to a really, really streamlined process experience for the guests, really making it seamless because we have a great team that works to make that happen. So our map of where Country Walkers goes is really everywhere in green is where we travel to on full operational. We're ready to go. We're not, locked out of New Zealand or whatever it may be, but this is our anticipated area that we travel to. 59 countries, 59 tours, 30 countries. 18 of those tours are self-guided. So you can see it's a bit smaller part of our business, but again, really good and really good for travel advisors. Here's where we go, self-guided next year. The two highlighted in red are extremely popular. So if you have guests that are interested in our new, meaning new, we introduced this year, Maine self-guided tour, or our Switzerland, because they're in such high demand and lodging is kind of small and unique, we do recommend getting those requests in as soon as possible. Not to say that a month from now or 2 months from now that you can't put in that request, but just that was what came back from our product director as I was talking to her about the offerings for next year. Really, really good spread. There's some here in the United States. California, I think, is one of our original offerings for self-guided walking. Part of that, you walk across the Golden Gate Bridge. Kind of interesting place. When I talk about activity level, this is what we mean. So most of what we offer fits in an easy to moderate or moderate. So kind of the left side of this chart. Automatically, people always go to miles. How many miles? How many miles? How many miles? You can see there's a lot more to it than miles. There's elevation gain or loss. There's walking surfaces, maybe terrain. And then beyond that, there might be some other nuances that are important to your clients. Maybe they have vertigo issues, or maybe they have something else that's going on that we don't label in this activity level chart. And that's where our tour consultants have lots and lots of notes and history on our tours and can really dive deeper into any special concerns that you have. And then we go all the way up to challenging. I can tell you right now, we have one challenging tour, and that's in Mont Blanc. It's more of a hiking experience with the Country Walkers amenities. And then we have Dolomites, which is more of a moderate to challenging, again, depending on your level of fitness going into it. Why do travel advisors love self-guided tours? Because it's uncomplicated, independent travel. One request does it all. We offer flexible date ranges, so you're not locked into a particular date, and then that's it, or we have 5 dates or 10 dates available to you. We offer over ranges that are several months, typically in the spring and then in the fall in some areas, and then late spring, summer, early fall in others. You get excellent commission. So you're getting paid on the land portion of the tour. If you put together something independently, you're going to be a bit nickeled and dimed. You have to reach out to a small hotel. You might have to break out the facts and fax them to confirm that. Then you might or may not get paid commission. And if you get paid commission, it may be in euros, it may be in Great British pounds or any other currency, and go to the bank with that, and it's going to cost you another $28 to get that converted. So we're making it easy. You can do independent travel with one call to us. put in the request. All these elements that are fairly complicated to make work together are done for you. And then we're going to cut you a check on starting at 10% of that land cost. So pretty good chunk of money coming your way, and you don't have to worry about it coming in bits and pieces to you if it comes at all. Great for multi-trips. So we have a lot of people that put these self-guided tours together because their flexible dates allow that. There's a lot of people that like our guided product, but really like maybe a destination, an offering, or a little bit of independence added in there. They'll put a combination together with a self-guided and a guided tour. You could do a self-guided walking and a biking guided tour. So it really lends to some good flexibility by having that on request type of process. Expertly designed. I mentioned the team we have involved in this. On the ground where the travelers are going, the support team is incredible. Ashley's going to share some wonderful stories of her time that she spent on tour. And then perfect for small groups of companions. We know, bit overused for a while, but the term bubble, it's people we want to travel with, people we're comfortable traveling with. Maybe it's family members, maybe it's old college friends that we're going to get together. Self-guided is perfect for that because you can focus in on just your companions and not have other members of the group that they're not familiar with, not bogging them down, but just in the mix. They can do a lot more what they all like-minded want to do together. So what's included in a self-guided walking tour is some really nice components. Like I said, it's kind of soup to nuts of what you need. So some support, that local representative, they'll orientate your clients when they arrive. They'll let them know how everything's working, and set them off on the right foot. Lodging, we use some excellent small inns, boutique style hotels. We'll see some pictures of that when Ashley takes over. Route notes. So we put together a booklet customized to that client's departure date, and it follows them all the way through. So they know where to turn and where to go and where their transfer is going to be and what's included and restaurant suggestions and everything else you can think of. I always used to say it's like finding one of our guides on our guided trips handbook and picking it up and taking and using it to go through the week. We include transfers, so you never walk with your luggage. You're not doing a rollaway bag down the path. It's what you're going to use for the day. Day pack. Some people just clip a water bottle on and off they go. But all of the main luggage is going to be transferred as the inns change, so no problem there. No one has to worry about even touching that other than maybe bring it to their door. And then dining. We're always going to include breakfast on all of our tours, so we set people off on the right foot. And then on self-guided, it's a little bit fewer meals than guided, just because the nature of the tour is to be independent. We don't necessarily want to lock everyone into every meal and not have them do what they want, blended in with our outline of our tour. So depending on the tour, it can be more or less, but you do get some other meals, lunches and dinners involved. And they're, again, wonderful meals like our guided tours offer as well. So for reference, if we're recapping, I'm not going to read everything on here, but we do it by request, about a 3 to 5 day turnaround. So you pick your dates. If you have more dates, so guest is really flexible, could go for 2 weeks, just let us know that. It will be a lot easier as we go to confirm the tour, that if even 1 day or 2 days off of what the desired date is, that they're flexible, it can make things push along a lot faster, and we return that the tour is confirmed back to you. Wide range of dates, as I mentioned, expertly planned, quaint lodging that's, sometimes hard to get on your own as well because it's fairly small. Those meals that are going to be included, transfers, ideal for small traveling parties and couples and even honeymooners, just some people out, again, want to do things a little bit more independently, but don't want to And then I did mention the air. So with Air Concierge, what we do is instead of it being a package with extra nights, we take and offer special air pricing that you can attach as an option to the land tour. So it really gives some nice pricing and some good flexibility. I mentioned combos. So here's a perfect combo. We have a new Cliffs of Moher tour that's been developed. Now it's unique in that it's a little bit shorter. So it's 4 nights, 5 days. It puts as a great combination with Cork and Kerry, which is a long-standing tour of ours, which is 7 nights, 8 days. So guests could combine these. We get the dates, we put in the request, and we confirm them all, and they end up with a nice 11-night tour. They can add on our Air Concierge and really get a nice experience for a lengthy stay in Ireland. And we have others that work, as I mentioned, with guided and self-guided. With that, I'm going to turn the slides over to Ashley Sullivan, who will take you through in depth her tour of Spain, and then also a little briefing of her Cotswolds tour as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Glenn. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley. I am, like, on a personal level, very passionate about this product that we have, self-guided tours, and I'm excited to share with you today my experience traveling on these tours and what I love about them. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this trip. So I've done two self-guided tours with my husband. The second one that we did together, which I'm going to go more in depth with you today, is our Spain, Andalusia, and Seville trip. We did this in early to mid-September 2018. And just give the slides a moment to change. Okay. Here's an overview of the route. So you will fly into Seville, and then take a driver will bring you out to this more rural area out. It's kind of a mountainous area, and you hike between these main towns here: Aracena, Cortelazor, and Alajar. Okay, so just a quick look at the tour at a glance. It's 8 days and 7 nights. It's an easy to moderate activity level. You begin and end in Seville. And then what I particularly loved about this tour is some of the unique inclusions that we had. There was an olive oil tasting, a jamón tasting, and a cheese and wine tasting. That was all part of that, as well as all of our more hallmark inclusions, which is all breakfasts and having a local rep available to always be there to help you. So, and our route notes, which are absolutely amazing, and that's what helps guide you through. Okay, so on the first day you arrive in Seville. We took a connecting flight flew into Madrid and took a connecting flight there to Seville. You get a speed pass, which helps you move very quickly from your flight into your arrival in Madrid to the plane into Seville, and it gets you right through customs. It was smooth and wonderful. We then took a city bus from the airport into the Plaza de Armas, which is the city center in Seville, and that is close to where our hotel was. Which was, what was that? Oh, sorry, Carol. I think you may want to put your mute on. We're getting a little bit of feedback. And the hotel was in such a great place. We could spend the day wandering around Seville. We were a short walk away from some of the most notable things in the area: the Catedral de Sevilla, the Royal Alcazar, the Archivo de Indias, and yeah, it was just absolutely amazing. And one thing that I that we particularly love doing is my mother had, when she was in college, had studied abroad in Seville and lived in the city. And so we walked and found her old apartment, which is right here. And there was just something very special about being able to, walk the streets that she had walked on, and imagining her being there. So it was really cool. And while we were out wandering around the city, we were in like a residential area, just stopped into a market and grabbed just a bunch of fun appetizers and snacks. And that's what we dined on our first night, with a bottle of wine. And it was a really great way to relax after a day on the plane. So the next morning, and here, just a little bit more about the hotel. We stayed at Hotel AMADEUS. It was very unique, kind of a classic music-themed hotel. What I really loved about it was the rooftop dining with a hot tub, had a beautiful view of the city. And it was unique and really cool. All right, on the second day of the tour, we were picked up by a driver right at our hotel. We drove I think it was about an hour drive out into the countryside, where we met with, we went to the largest town in the area, Aracena. And this area too, it's the Sierra de Aracena and Picos de Roche Natural Park. So it's a kind of like a national park type region, that I guess the equivalent here. And the first thing we did was meet with the Country Walker's local representative, and his name was Angel. He was local to the area, very knowledgeable, and so he met with us. He reviewed our route notes and maps and made sure that we were all set up with where we were going. If we had any questions about our tour, things like that. And then he gave us a guided tour of the town, and it was absolutely fascinating. That area of Spain has been invaded by many different peoples, and so there's a lot of different cultural influences on the architecture, and he talked to us about that. And we ended our tour with a cheese tasting at this tiny shop in the town square, and it was these amazing cheeses paired with wine, and Angel guided us through the entire experience. And the shop owner, she only spoke Spanish, and so Angel was sort of our liaison between her and us as we all had this experience together. So a couple other notable things in Aracena. There's the Grutas de la Maravillas, and this is a famous cave system. We did that. It had an amazing audio tour, and as you move through the caves, and they were just stunning. And then there was a large fortress that you could walk up to in town. So there's a lot that we could do right on foot on our first day in town. And we stayed at Hotel Convento, which is it had been a convent that they renovated into a hotel and really preserved the history. It was just a beautiful, gorgeous building with stunning architecture, and it was a really cool experience to stay there. And a wonderful pool area and great food as well. So then the next day, this is where the actual hiking begins. So, or walking, I should say. And that day was a 9.5-mile loop. So we started in Aracena and looped all the way back around to Aracena again, where we stayed in the Hotel Convento again. And you're on these, gentle rolling farm roads and footpaths. You pass through olive groves. It was just gorgeous, and it was so quiet. I mean, there was almost no one other than just, local farmers or, we out on the road. And one of the inclusions for that day was stopping at Jamones Iras in Corta Concepcion, and this was an Iberian ham farm. So they raised the Iberian pigs. We got to see the pigs. They live on these beautiful this beautiful farmland with all these acorn trees because their diet is primarily acorns. And then we did a tasting of Iberian ham tasting at the farm in what had been their original farm kitchen that was now they used as sort of their like hosting space, but it had all these family relics in there, and it was absolutely amazing. We toured the whole facility. You could see us in here where they were drying the ham. So it was really cool. And then the next day we had a 7.7 mile hike. We went down into a valley and hiked back out again. That day we had a picnic lunch, which was included as part of the tour, and it was prepared by Angel's wife, and it had all traditional food, which including Spanish tortilla, which is like I can't even really describe it. It's like a potato dish. It was amazing. And it was just beautiful and quiet. We walked on these ancient Roman roads and bridges, and you can see one of the Roman roads here. And that day was hiking from Aracena to Cortázar. And in Cortázar, we stayed at La Flamenca Inn, which is this really unique space, has lots of antiques. It's really interestingly decorated, a really unique space. And Lola, who owns La Flamenca Inn, she's still actually a great friend of ours, but she cooked us dinner there's like this big kitchen in the inn, like kind of like it feels like a family kitchen. And she made us dinner in there. We sat around the table. We chatted with her until like 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was just such a wonderful experience. The following day, we did an 8.6 mile hike through a more remote part of the hills. And this day was a lot of fun with navigating. And we had you can see Corey here with the route notes. The self-guided tours, I think what makes them so unique and fun is this sort of navigational aspect. You have everything you need in this amazingly detailed notebook. And you're I don't know, it just feels really authentic and cool to be following these trails and getting from town to town. And this day in particular was there was a lot of navigating and making sure we kept our eyes close on the route notes, and it was really fun and made it really unique. We saw lots of wildlife. We walked through a chestnut plantation, and every little hamlet or town we went through would have these public drinking fountains, so we would fill up our water bottles. And it was really cool. All right, the next day, day 6 of the tour, you hike from Cortázar to Alhajar. This was a 7.8 mile walk that day. And one of the most unique parts first I just want to point out here, this is like an acorn flavored beer because the acorns are so prevalent in the area. So that was something that we had grabbed at one of the little shops and to try out. And here in this photo, you can see these sort of decorative flags and these kind of, I think they're pine. There had been pine boughs in the street. So there was actually a famous pilgrimage that day. And Angel had told us about it. He said, hey, this happens, every year on September 8th, and you just happen to be, you'll be passing by while this big event is happening. And he told us how to, if you go off the trail and go down this road, you can experience this, you can be part of this event. So let me just switch to the next slide. So this is the Romería de la Reina de los Ángeles. So this was this all these different brotherhoods came from all the local villages and gathered here at this chapel, and they brought out the Virgin Mary on this huge chariot, and there was music and food vendors, and everybody had come in on horses, and every town and brotherhood had their own beautifully decorated wagon that they came in with, and it was probably one of the most spectacular things I have ever seen and witnessed. It was so amazing, and everyone was dressed in traditional clothing, like the women in kind of that more flamenca style, and it was really amazing. And I think we were definitely, like, not only were we not from the area, we were like, or not only were we Americans, we were also like the only people not from the immediate area. So it was really cool to be part of something or see something so special. And then that evening, we finished our walk at Finca La Fronda, which is a hotel that was started by a British family who are the descendants of the poet William Wordsworth, and one of the children who helps run the inn is an amazing chef, and his food was amazing. We had dinner, I think 2 dinners included there, and some of the dishes we had were a mushroom risotto and this like innovative blend of gazpacho and salmorejo soups. It was just, I like still fantasize about it because it tasted so good. Then the following day, we did an olive oil tasting at Angel. So Angel has a posada, a small inn himself in Alahar, and this Angel is our local representative. We did an olive oil tasting at his posada, and he gave us a tour of the building, his garden, his rainwater collection system. We got to meet his young daughter, and it was a really cool experience. And then that day we did a 6.8 mile hike, and this you pass through like these almost like an abandoned hamlet, and then you have an included lunch at a Michelin rated restaurant called Los Herreros, and there's a special tasting for Country Walkers guests. There's a special tasting menu of local delicacies and wine pairings. So that was really amazing and so good. I wish I took more photos of the food. I just took a picture of my espresso at the end. I don't know why. I think I was so into the food at the moment. You'll notice too, as at this day we did just under a 7-mile hike. Something we take into account, our tour designer who designs these tours she sort of will build up the mileage, peaking mileage somewhere in the middle of the tour and then easing back down again. And I think that's a really nice cadence for the trip, because you sort of, it gets easier as, it builds up a little bit, and then it gets easier towards the end of the tour when you're perhaps getting more tired from walking every day. And then that was really, then we had dinner that night at Finca La Fronda, and the next morning we were picked up by a driver and brought back to Seville. And that was the end of our tour. And I would say it was some of the biggest takeaways for me is that it was such an authentic experience. We were virtually the only non-Spanish travelers in the area. It was really off the beaten path. It felt very undiscovered. The food was amazing. And the people were just so warm and welcoming. We just really had just a wonderful trip. And the year prior to that, and I'm just going to touch on this really briefly, we did our Cotswolds tour, and that was in September 2017, and we did this trip to celebrate our first wedding anniversary. And we flew into London, took a train out to Morton Marsh, and then really hiked from inn to inn. throughout the Cotswolds, and it was Chipping Campden, Broadway, Winchcombe, Lower Slaughter, and then back to Montmartre. So you do this big loop and then take the train back to London, and you can fly out of there. It was a 7-day, 6-night tour. Again, easy to moderate, start and end in London. And you can see here we do include an entrance fee to one of the castles that you walk by on the tour. Some of the highlights for this trip was just the rolling countryside, the just beautiful, charming houses, beautiful gardens. I think what I really love about the self-guided travel style is that you can be spontaneous within a structure. So the tour is all structured out for you. But for instance, one day we were walking and passed an abbey that was built in like 700 that was now a museum. And it was so interesting. We decided to pay admission, and we stayed there for about an hour or so, and then continued on our walk. And so I think it's just cool that you can kind of, customize your day, but you have this sort of overarching structure laid out for you. And then I also met with our orientation leader, and he just had our local rep who did an orientation with us and gave us some really great special hints about the area. He would said, if you want to, rub shoulders with the locals, go to the pubs right at the end of the workday. That's when all the locals go there. So that's what we did. We would go to the pubs at like 5 and, just see all the locals hanging out after work. And I thought that was a really cool tip. So, yes, thank you. All right, Glenn, back to you.
All right, great. So thank you very much, Ashley. That is definitely an example of how our tours eliminate some of the traditional tour barriers, like big buses and or rental car, and trying to figure this out on your own. You're really up close and personal and able to join that festival and other things that just are right in front of you instead of from afar. I mentioned we do have air available for any of our international self-guided tours, so you can add that on at our great pricing. Just going to cover some of our advisor benefits. Just as a reminder, we offer 10% commission. We do have some preferred arrangements as well, so certain agencies may qualify for higher commissions than that, but our average payout, $7.79 per booking. Not unusual for me to see commissions well north of $1,000 of reservation. If you want to join us on any tour, 25% off for you, and companions sharing the room start at 20% and go on up. We have some travel agent pages, so they're currently not behind any sort of portal or any sort of login. That will probably change over the next year as we develop those portals. But for now, you can refer to the travel agent area at the bottom of either website. Same content. It's going to have all sorts of information on how to work with us, some other learning modules and whatnot. And we do have a new Xanterra brand travel advisor catalog that we put together. So that's available on the Xanterra website as well as our websites as well. We have a couple of promotions. So always there's frequent traveler credits that are given to guests that have traveled with us in the past. We've made special accommodations from, knowing that we just have been involved in this pandemic for a while. So credits have been extended and so forth. So those are available. We're down to today and tomorrow for our Country Walkers early booking discount. So that's available to past guests where they can save 5%, which is a pretty good amount of savings. And you can combine that with frequent traveler credits and really save your clients a lot. But you do need to get those past travelers booked by tomorrow to make that work. Just a quick recap of what we've done during COVID. Obviously, we have a confidence that a rebound is happening. We were able to operate starting in April. and domestically bursted at the seams, internationally went where we could get in and where we could operate safely. We offered refunds, not credits. So kind of unique out there. We're not putting our advisors through a series of credit after future after this. We decided to refund the guests, and what have they done? They've come right back and booked when they are comfortable traveling, and they've commented that this was a great thing to do, and other entities had not necessarily done that for them. We're always up to date on the latest protocol. We work closely with the United States Tour Operators Association and their Tour Cares program. We are lucky that our owner funds a medical center in Denver, so we have up close and personal medical advice coming from there. We relaxed our booking policies, and we always provide 24/7 support for anyone traveling with us. So if they're feeling uncomfortable, or it's the test of the day, or some quick pivot, they can call someone and put that into action. Our hopes are, we just finished operating our last tour of the calendar year last Friday, and we're hoping that as our season kicks back on in 2022, that this will all be even dialed in a little bit further, so that guests that want to travel will comfortably be able to travel, know where to get tests, etc., and we'll provide all those great updates as we go, and hopefully at some point we won't have to do that. Getting started with us, if you probably are already enrolled in our system if you're joining us today, but if for some reason something's changed, you've changed travel agencies, hosts, etc., just send me an email, gletch@vbt, and we'll get you all squared away in the system so that you can sell not only Country Walkers but VBT. And there's all different ways to work with us. With self-guided walking, you definitely want to call us because of the request nature of it. It's just online. It's not available to you. So you want to call us, but other products could be booked online. The key being that you have to be set up properly in our reservation system before you can do that. I'm always available if I can help you work on your business, attract clients, talk to your clients. I've done joint calls with travel advisors just to kind of push their clients, to the booking limit, and I'll be happy to do so for you as well. And we want to wish you happy holidays from both of our great brands and all of our wonderful staff. Before we go, I will open it up. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute, and Ashley and I would be happy to answer those questions for you. Okay, well, we appreciate your time today. If you missed any of the presentation, we have recorded it, and we will be sending out a replay, and we'll have it in our next newsletter in January as well. And it will also be available on our website. And again, if you think of something, hey, or you got a client that you really would like to get going, just let me know. I'll be happy to work with you. Thank you, and thank you, Ashley, for sharing your wonderful tales of the trail.
Thank you, everyone.